Holy shit. we're starting at rock bottom. Not much of a laughing matter. It was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Not the brightest kid, I would say. I think I made a big mistake. If I had to describe my gaming career, I think it would be redemption. We'll start from the beginning of time when my dad got the first thing that made me want to go pro was the original Xbox. I would just play it, you know, when he wasn't around, because I wasn't really allowed to, I'm not gonna lie. I would just play it all the time. So that's where I played the original Halo, grinded Halo nonstop, played local tournaments for Halo as a kid, smacked up adults. My dad, I kind of have to blame him for getting me into the game, so it's kind of like his doing in a way. But he also, you know, got me into hockey too, so I was playing both. And I just so happened to, you know, become a professional gamer. I would like to think I was pretty good at hockey because I've been playing since I was like 3, 4 years old. Fast forward to high school, I'm a freshman and I'm on the varsity team right away. In high school, you know, I was playing hockey, but I was really starting to get into video games because in high school is when I started playing this game called Crossfire. I'm not exactly sure how old I was when I first started playing Crossfire. Maybe I was like 13 or 14. My dad got me a PC and this was just this free game that I got an ad for. I was just playing it for fun. I started competing, and before you knew it, I was at the top already. People knew my name, all this stuff. And that's where I got my first opportunity to play for a team. It was called Frost Gaming or something so old. These guys approached me and they're like, hey, like, come play with us in like a qualifier. If we win the qualifier, we get to go to China. I thought they were BSing me. I thought it was all lie, you know? I thought like they were just messing with me. We got to the qualifier and I destroyed everybody there. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little freak back then. So I dominated everybody. You know, next thing you know, we're going to China. That's how it all started. Now I think at that point is when I realized like I could be a professional gamer. During the same time as Crossfire, I was playing a lot of CS, okay? I'm not gonna lie. My team was getting mad at me for playing CS so much and not practicing Crossfire. And they were like, hey, like, you need to stop playing. And like, I was like, I'm never gonna stop, like, unless I get banned. I said it jokingly. And they were like, no, go get banned. And I listened to them. It was the stupidest thing I've ever done. It was just so dumb, but I really did not see myself going anywhere in Counter-Strike. I didn't think I was ever gonna make a career out of it. I was kind of just a big troll back then. So I was very immature and I did what I did, got banned. That ended up affecting my career later down the road, which like I didn't think it would because I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't take it serious. But you know, fast forward to like me trying to join an organization in Overwatch, it ended up like backfiring hard. This is where the video game started to really take over. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not a good student at all. I would like to think I was good at hockey. I had an offer to play in college, and instead of doing that, I pursued video games. My family was very supporting of whatever I wanted to do at that point. They understood that I probably was gonna go the gaming way. I'm not gonna lie. Like everybody saw how much I played video games. It became such a staple in my life. They didn't try to push me to do anything. They let me choose what I wanted to do. They just said, you better go to college. Shortly after going to college for database stuff, I actually got like an opportunity to play professional Overwatch. So I ended up dropping out. When Overwatch first came out, I remember one of my old people in the scene from Crossfire, his name is Michael. He introduced me to the game. He was like, bro, you kind of plateaued, you know, like there's not much money to make in this game. Like you should move on, and I know you're a good player. I know you can do it. So we ended up making a team. We went on this crazy streak in the amateur scene of Overwatch, like, I don't know, like 70-0 or something. It was something ridiculous. We won like so many tournaments in a row. Ended up doing really good, made it to this LAN, got second place at it at like PAX South or something. That's when offers started coming in, you know? That's when I got my first contract when I was still going to college. So I joined Splice, and from Splice, I went straight to the Overwatch League. San Francisco Shock. It was hard. It was tough because these guys are like, I don't know if we can pick somebody up that got banned on ECA. Like, this is a big platform. I told everybody from the start, hey, this is who I am. Thank God I got the opportunity. I kind of cleared my name in a way. It was my first ever Overwatch League team, and this is where I can say, once I joined the Overwatch League is when I actually became a professional player. There was like this infrastructure in that league that was like so ridiculous. Like it was like really matured every player that joined it. On San Francisco Shock, you could definitely tell that I lost a lot of motivation and dedication to the game. I had some other stuff going on in my life behind the scenes that had nothing to do with gaming. But I was also depressed that, you know, my team was losing a lot. Like we were losing a lot of matches and I was always performing. Like I was like the star of the team, but I kind of let it get to my head a little bit, you know, because I was like, like why my team Like I kind of had an ego, you know? Ultimately what happened was, it was just an accumulation of like stuff behind the scene and stuff happening in the game. I just ended up going through like this very like depressive state, and I was partying a lot. I'm the type of player that I would always show up early to practice. So we had a facility at the time. I would show up 2 hours earlier than anybody. I would sit there and I would train and train, be warmed up for the practice, give it my all. As you could see that I started to get more and more depressed, I stopped showing up early. I just started showing up just for the practice. I didn't warm up at all. All these things, which ultimately led me to stop performing at the top level that I did to get to where I was, you know? When I got benched the first year, I definitely saw it coming. And I think I just needed it to happen. And that was a really tough time for me. I was in a dark place, but I was able to, you know, come back out of that. But that was definitely like rock bottom for me. Eventually it got to the point where I was like, you know, what am I doing? You know, I gotta get it together, because I'm gonna lose everything. But after I went through that, I really like found out how to like get myself out of these ruts, and you know, therapy was also a big help for me. I ended up taking like a vacation. You know, I was on the beach and I just had like a really like ego check on myself, and I was able to come out as like a man, you know, and just realize like, you gotta get back on your grind, man. Like, or you're gonna lose everything that you've been working for your whole life. That was a big change for me, and I ended up starting later in the year. So it was all worth it, you know. The second year on Shock that I ended up being transferred to Atlanta Reign. From there, you know, I became a star on that team too. My last season of Overwatch League, in which I was already saying I was a freak and everybody was calling me MVP, I was literally using AimLab. I was just grinding it, and like, it's just such a good warm-up routine for me, because in the morning, I need to like warm up like my wrist, otherwise I'm just like a brick. like I'll just be like a brick, and I'll just like miss everything, and it's so bad. And I'll miss like these shots where like people are jumping in the air, for example, or like, you know, Jet is like dashing on me. I'll miss these shots normally if I don't use AimLab. Last season I played for them, I was probably at my peak, and then I got this offer, you know, to play in Faze for VALORANT, and I was just ready for it, because it felt like Crossfire mixed with the last game I played for like 3 years, which is Overwatch. It was like one of the best choices I think I've made, because it ended up being the game for me. So as soon as I got the opportunity, I took it, and I do not regret it at all. I definitely think my personality matches with Faze. The energy that Faze already has and brings is like something that I've been doing my whole life. So it just kind of like, it was just very easy for us to like just click like that. Everybody says it, you know, like, wow, I'd never seen a more, you know, Faze pickup than Babybay. It was like a no-brainer almost. You know, they go out of their way to make me feel like part of the team and part of the crew, and like make me feel special, you know? They treat me like the King Smeag I am, you know what I mean? Like, they let me Smeag around. They support the Smeag. They got me a Smeag cake. You know what I mean? It's good. I'm blushing. But yeah, my favorite Smeag line has gotta be when I was like talking about how we're adapting and we're becoming the sophisticated Smeag. That's gotta be my favorite of all time, I swear, because you know, you can't just always run in there and expect to win, so you have to evolve. And it was like, let's actually think about this. Like, you know, let's change up our timings on it. Let's be more sophisticated in the Smeag. And like, you know, you see these meme pictures with like the monocle on, and it's the Smeag. It's just funny. I think my most memorable match in VALORANT would be when I played against Sentinels in the JBL Cup, you know, talking my stuff. We were playing Haven. I typed it in chat. I was like, hey, I'm gonna dash into Garage every round. And if you look at the VOD, I literally dashed Garage like 8 times in a row. And I don't know, it was just such a funny moment. And even like Sentinels talk about it. Like to this day, like Shazam will be like, yeah, like this guy literally said that he's gonna rush Garage every round or something. And Shazam was like, no way, he won't do that. And I ended up doing it. So like, it's definitely a memorable moment for them as well. I have grown exponentially in this game compared to Overwatch, where I definitely plateaued. It's just insane. Like having all the support and like seeing all these new fans that just love me in VALORANT, but also having my old, you know, my OGs is what I call them. People can see my personality more, and they like me more for who I am, you know? So it was just really a perfect opportunity for me. The switch didn't have much to do with how Overwatch was doing at the time, because like a lot of people were talking about how like I was like having like the best season of my entire career. It more so had to do with the fact that I know that Riot is a powerhouse when it comes to making games, and League of Legends, the tournaments for that game are insane. So The fact that like I could be playing in a Worlds type scenario, you know, is like amazing. I want to go to Worlds. Like I want to have that experience that, you know, that Riot does, you know, because I feel like Worlds is just such like a crazy tournament. We are preparing for the Last Chance Qualifier by taking a break right now. Not gonna lie, we're taking a break right now, but we're gonna be back training soon. I think in the next like week or so. You know, we had a good showing. It was tough. Every team we lost to made it to Berlin. So we lost to 100 Thieves, we lost to Envy. And they're both very strong teams. It was very close matches, and I really think it could have gone either way. They were just the better team that day. I definitely think we can grab the final slot. You know, out of the teams that are left over, I think that we are very strong. Like I said, the teams that we lost to were very, very good at this moment in time. But I think with more time, we're gonna be very prepared for this next tournament, and you're gonna see dominant performances from our entire roster. I'm not sure about what my team thinks, but I think that C9 is an opponent that I'm looking out for right now. They just got Vanity, and I think Vanity's a very good player. I think he's a good IGL. And I know that most of that roster is now composed of like their old CS team. So they already have this chemistry. I think they're gonna be a good roster to compete against. I attribute a lot of my success to like trying to be as consistent as possible. And honestly, that's why Sentinels is so good. They're all consistent. There's no doubt in my mind that I became like a more consistent player using AimLab. I love the Valorant Combines. I love how AimLab showcase specific scenarios and like lay out the maps exactly the same as Valorant. Like this last Combine has like clips of like food in Short A on Haven, showing you like, this is why this is good to practice, you know what I mean? It's very cool. I think it's ahead of its time. These specific situations are awesome. I think they're so good because you're actually getting something out of it. My goal is to make the World Championship. If that doesn't happen, you know, within the next 3 years, I hope I get a title shot, you know, at that World Championship. Champions aren't made, you know, right away. It takes time to build up a championship team, championship roster. If we don't make it this year, I have faith in Faze to get there eventually, you know, to just keep grinding and working towards that. It's gonna happen. Mark my words, saying it here. Now that I've gone through all these things, like all these obstacles, like I understand that you can literally work through anything. It doesn't matter who you are, what you're going through, like you can get through it if you just push yourself. Just know that you're gonna get through it, you know? Like you can do this. You know, I know in the future, I'm not gonna always have ups. Like there's gonna be downs and I'm gonna get through it. That is what contributes to a lot of the success that I've had after that moment of time. I wanna thank all of you, all my Smeags out there. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for supporting me, the OGs since Crossfire, since Overwatch, even the Counter-Strike ones. Man, I love you all. Thank you all so much. Without you guys, you know, I would have none of this. So I appreciate you guys so much. Smeags out there, I love y'all. Keep showing love on the Twitch and whatnot. And Faze up, guys. Faze up for now. Let's go.